brand new bank that had there never been such a bank. It was called, I think, the First Century Bank. And while their building was being built, they literally were doing their banking out of a big double wide trailer. It sounds silly, but back then it got me thinking. It's like, why would someone, start a bank? I mean, I didn't understand, I understand interest and stuff like that, but it's like, why would someone spend so much money to make a bank? But see, back then I didn't realize about fractional reserve banking. And that's really one of the biggest parts of the whole scam. We've got the Federal Reserve scam, and that's one thing where they create wealth out of thin air and loan it to the government. But then you've got members FDIC, like this New Century Bank that was opening up 10 years ago, who can loan out like up to 10 times more than they actually have on deposit. Mm-hmm. And so what that's doing is further inflating our money, further creating wealth out of thin air. And what people don't realize is, like, if you sign a mortgage, so let's say it's $100,000 mortgage, that bank does not have that $100,000 to loan you. They don't. Your signature on that mortgage is what gives it its value. And by agreeing to that contract, you're now on the hook for $100,000 that never existed, plus interest. And so you've got inflation built right into things like the Federal Reserve and the fractional reserve members FDIC banks. This shit's got to go. Literally, the dollar has fallen over the last 100 years since the Federal Reserve was put in place to basically 1 or 2% of its value.
Right, yeah, 99%.
That's hyperinflation.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. And you can't. I mean, it's got to crash eventually. And people, the only reason it still is going is because half the country is asleep. I mean, we have two basic Americas. We have half the country that is tired of everything being rigged, and the other half that can't wait for another crooked leftist basically to come and rig everything. I mean, it's just like ridiculous that people can't see what a majority, and I don't want to say majority, but a lot of the people who listen to this show, or a lot of people that I talk to, what is so obvious. And it just is infuriating because we have the numbers. That's the scary thing. I mean, we have by far the numbers. I mean, I look across this country, I wouldn't want to put a percent on it, but I'd say 90% of the country is good quality people. And if we just realized that and saw the absolute tyranny going on and the invasion into our rights and the privacy, and that's what life is. Life is about freedom. That is the most coveted thing that we have, and people are willing to give it up because they watch mainstream news and think that there's some boogeyman Muslims that are coming to get them, that they're willing to give it all away. And I know we're bringing this up on a flat Earth show, but it's because it all ties in together. And actually, more than that, this is the lie that could break it all open. And so when you got people trying to stop it, you have to know that those people are either paid or else they're extremely lost in the brain, because there's no other reason why you would ever stop a movement with the intent of the Flat Earth movement, which is, if the science that we're taught is real, if it's true, then that's what we're going to discover. When you do research and you go out and test things and you do experiments and you bring evidence forth, then what happens is you either prove that we were taught the truth, and then we can all go back to our lives and say, hey, we were wrong, we actually were taught the truth, and that's better for everybody. So no matter what happens in this, it's better for everybody. The only way it can be worse for everybody is if you stop this movement or try to stop it, which good luck, and it comes to find out we all get enslaved, and our children are enslaved, and our children's children, all because some people felt like calling us morons and idiots, rather than just let it go and see what happens. Your science should hold up against any challenge. That's what the point of science is. If you're the top belief, you're the top truth, you're the going facts, then you should be able to stand up to anything. Yet for some reason, this is the one thing they don't want you questioning, and it also happens to be, for some strange reason, the thing that was taught as the dumbest belief anybody can have, and it's the one thing that you can call, it's the worst insult you can call somebody as a flat earther. Well, why in the world would that be unless it was the dumbest belief of all time? And I'll tell you, it is not by far. It has so much evidence, and when you just do the research, even for 2 years like I've done, it becomes beyond overwhelming. This is not a question anymore for me. It may be a question of, how does the flat earth work? How does it work where I live? How do the sun and moon operate? Those questions I still have. The question is no longer, is the earth flat or is it a globe? The Earth cannot be a globe. It is not possible. There's no evidence for it. We've never been taught evidence. We've never been shown evidence. And every bit of word salad that they throw at you is designed to fool you. And it's obvious once you look at it.